إخوتي هيا نمضي سويا يا 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 إخوتي هيا نمضي سويا.
So can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you've been in this area and how long you've been here and so forth?
I've been here since about the middle of high school. We moved here and my dad took a job in the area. I grew up in Houston primarily. But I graduated from Grapevine, stayed home for college, went to UNT, and pretty much been here since then, minus a couple of years. I lived in Atlanta when I took a job out there. That's pretty much it.
So is there an MSA in UNT?
There is an MSA at UNT now, but there wasn't when I went there. So I can identify heavily with what Noman talked about. Not having an MSA at college really, it hurts the Muslim students there.
Sure. So tell us about your experience, background, and how you started off from college into the job force. And I mean, just generally starting off in the job market, I know it's very, it can be very tough, difficult without having any experience. So how did you get in the door?
So the first thing obviously is, and Brother Noman talked about this a little bit, but when you're in college, the important thing is, first and foremost, figuring out what it is that you want to do. And I think that's something that a lot of people have an idea of what they want to do, or their parents have kind of put them into a direction of what they want them to do. But the important thing is in college that you take what you're passionate about, what you're good at, like Noman said, the combination of those two things, and then go in there, start studying, and as you go through college, you'll start seeing different opportunities that are available to you. So for example, I did computer science, so I started getting aware of different types of positions that you can get with that type of a degree, getting into the IT field, programming field, all those different areas. But what I would recommend to everyone is when you're in college, the important thing to do is two things. One is that you need to get a job, and if possible, try to get an internship in your field so you can start getting experience. The second thing is to try to go and not just talk to people who are in your field, but go and try to spend time at those types of places. So for example, if you want to work in a hospital, let's say you want to be a nurse or a pharmacist or a doctor, then it will be important for you to go and volunteer at a hospital and see what the environment's actually like. See what the day-to-day life for that person's actually like, and see if you would enjoy being there and being in that environment. Because if you go and let's say you volunteer there for a summer, and at the end of the summer you can't envision yourself being in that place day after day, then you know that that's probably not the choice that you want to make. So it's important to seek out people that are in that field, that are doing what you want to do. But on the other hand, at the same time, there's not a lot that you'll be able to predict as well. As an example, my degree is in IT, but since the time that I graduated, I can honestly say the highest degree of IT work that I've done is something that a high school graduate could do. I haven't done anything advanced in IT at all. I haven't done programming, I haven't done coding, I haven't done any of those types of positions. So a lot of times a person will enter into the workforce and they'll get a job that they might not have been expecting to get, but they end up in such a position, or once they enter into the workforce, they'll move along and end up in different types of positions than what they had expected. So keep an open mind, and more importantly, keep building up as much experience as you possibly can. In terms of how I entered into the job market, and I know that for the high school and college kids, this is particularly an important question, is I've graduated now, I've got a degree, but I've got no experience. So how do I actually get that first job? Because every job that you apply to, they want 3 years, 0 to 3 years experience, or 5 years experience, 10 years experience. If no one will give me experience, how do I build it up? And that's really not an easy answer. There's not an easy way of doing it. When I graduated college, for example, I wasn't able to find a position in IT. So actually my dad helped me out and I got a job as a pharmacy technician, which had nothing to do with what I studied. I hadn't even taken a biology class in college. I hated the medical field with a passion. But I ended up working in a hospital because that's the only job that I could find at the time. Alhamdulillah, it worked out because I was able to kind of merge the two skills, but the point is when you graduate, sometimes you won't find what you want. So you're going to have to keep looking and take any position that you can get, and when you get that position, do the best that you can into it, and whatever job you get, you'll be able to get some experience out of it. So even if you're like a barista at Starbucks, you'll be able to build up, let's say, customer service skills. You'll be able to build up managerial skills. You'll be able to learn how to keep people on a timeline, how to do finances. No matter what position you have, you'll build up a lot of skills. So it's important that whatever opportunities you can get, you take them and you take advantage of them the best that you can. The other thing is that you've got to network with the people in your community. And this is really where the masjid takes a big role. The more active that you are in the masjid, the more active that you are with, say, your MSA, the more active that you are in different community activities, the more that you'll be able to network and make friends with people around you who can help guide you into another direction. So if you're active at the masjid and you're looking for a job, you'll immediately know, 10, 15 brothers at the masjid who are, if they're not in your field, maybe they work for companies that you might want to work for. So for example, I work for Dell, but I have nothing to do with manufacturing, I have nothing to do with programming, but if a brother I know at the masjid is trying to get into that field, I might know a manager that I can talk to and hand the resume off to him. Right? So it's important to talk to people at the masjid and get to know them, and so they know you, because the other part of getting a favor from someone is that if someone knows you, they have a relationship with you, they see you at the masjid, they see you contributing, they'll be more inclined to help you out. They'll be more inclined to take a vested interest on their own end to work harder for you to help you out. The other thing is that once you graduate and you've got a fresh resume, get people to help go over that resume with you. Get some tips, find a way to properly do your resume. And I help a lot of my friends do their resumes, and I can tell you one of the skills that people don't learn in college is how to write a good resume. And that's really important when you're getting into the job market, is learning how to write a good resume. And a couple of quick tips that I can give you is, first, you can Google the resumes of students from Ivy League universities in your field. So look up resumes for accounting graduates from Stanford and see what kind of things they've listed on their resumes. Try to put those things into it. Another thing, like I mentioned, the more experience that you have, the more that you'll be able to put down. And remember, experience doesn't have to be only a job where you're getting a paycheck, right? Experience could be if you're organizing a youth program at the masjid, you can talk to Brother Adil. There's a lot of professional skills that go into it, right? Someone had to coordinate the audio and visual system here. Someone has to broadcast this on the internet. Someone had to make a flyer. So already you're talking about graphic design, you're talking about communications, you're talking about advanced technical skills. Someone has to make a timeline, someone has to get the project, someone has to coordinate the speakers coming, right? So you've got project management built into it. There's a lot of professional skills that go into something even like this. So whatever activities you can get involved in, even let's say it's MSA activities, you're organizing your Islam Awareness Week, you're organizing a fastathon, whatever you're organizing, you might think that it's not a big deal, but really if you step back and look at it, don't sell yourself short. There's a lot of important skills that go into organizing those programs. So you need to document them for yourself, not in order to brag about it to anybody else, but document it for your own resume so that when you apply for a job, they're not just seeing this guy has a finance degree, as do 3,000 other people that applied for this position. But they see someone that has, let's say they have a degree, but they also have these other life skills and life experiences that they can bring into their position. Because the thing is, whatever you study in college, even after 4 years, after 128 credit hours, and you can ask anyone that works professionally, whatever a person did in college is not what you do when you get to work. Whatever you studied in college is not what you're going to actually end up doing. What the college degree is showing a potential employer is that this person has enough skill and enough drive that they can study, they can learn something, they can take a skill and learn it. And so when we put them on something at work, they'll be able to learn, they'll be a fast learner, they'll pick it up, they'll be able to apply themselves, they'll be able to draw upon other experiences and do something successfully.
So that kind of relates to, like, you did computer science.
Right.
So that didn't really work out. You went through all those coding classes, C++.
And actually, in all reality, I should step back.
Okay.
I did computer science, and through about my third year, and I finished up the majority of my computer science classes, I realized that I really hated computer science. I absolutely could not envision myself sitting in a computer for 8 hours looking for missing semicolons. And so, but by that time it was a little bit too late to change my major and start all over again. I kind of wanted to get on with life, move on. And so I decided, let me just finish out my degree, see if I can get a job. If not, I can, go back and do my master's